a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
The bits, the bits, the bits, the bits, the bits.
You forgot how we start the podcast.
You're listening to That's a Sitch and the Kim Possible watch along.
Oh no.
No, it's
Robert, this is one of your 50 podcasts. All right, I'll start. How about that?
How about that? I forgot how I start the other three podcasts too. Wait. So that's a Sitch. I forgot how Entering Storybook starts. I have not recorded Entering Storybook in like a month.
Oh no.
Well, you have 5 people and you all swap, so you're fine.
I have that, and then True and Grammar doesn't really have an intro, and then this one.
You know the intro for this podcast? Welcome to the Bits, hosted by your favorite jam buds, Charlie.
And Robert.
And we're joined by Josh.
Hello.
Our Crystal Temp, maybe? Oh.
Crystal Temp?
I am a crystal temp.
We'll always save the day.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out a fun name for a co-host, or not co-host, a guest.
Yeah, we just took Josh was just chilling in a bubble, and we just finally decided to pop him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were bubbles. You're a corrupted gem, actually.
Oh no, we gotta heal me. Maybe.
That's gonna take some serious diamond power. I don't know if we can do it.
It's okay. I'm unsavable at this point.
Just save yourself.
All right, Josh, tell us a little bit about yourself. We have not had a guest on here before, so
oh my god! Well, I am very honored to be the first guest on the Bits. Hi everyone, my name is Josh. I run a horror movie / sometimes superhero podcast called Super Scary. I am these lovely folks' podcast sibling on Dave's X Media. You can hear both Charlie and Robert on some episodes, and yeah, it's a fun time over there. I mainly cover horror movies, which I suspect is why I'm on this episode in particular today. So I'm excited to dive in.
Listen to those of you who want to listen to Josh's podcast.
Linda, listen.
Listen, Linda. Charlie's episode's about Scooby-Doo. That's whatever. My episode is making fun of Kevin Bacon fucking a girl in the belly button. So
do with that what you will.
Whose episode do you want to listen to?
Listen to both.
To the episode
why not both?
Where Josh and I are just like, what is this Scooby-Doo movie?
What is this nonsensical plot? Yeah. Which is 90% of my podcast. I'm like, what is this plot? What is happening?
One could say, what is new Scooby-Doo?
Hey. They're coming after you.
Anyway, so today we're looking at season 1, episode 5, Frybo, which premiered November 18th, 2013. Ugh.
Dang, it is 10 years old.
10 years old. Sometimes it's really funny to watch. One of my favorite YouTube channels is called The Vlog Brothers. It's Hank and John Green's their back and forth little video blog thing. And a lot of 2012, 2013 videos have been popping up, recommended from their thing. And I'm like, oh, let me watch these. And it's they're talking about the Tiffios movie, or they're talking about Obama in office. And I'm like, oh, 2013.
Oh, such a nice time. I was still in college then.
I was
in high school.
I forget sometimes like how old I am compared to everybody else on the network. Because you both of you are in your mid-20s, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
we are in fact only a few months apart.
Oh wow.
Robert's not even 6 months older than me.
I'm a billion years older than Charlie.
No.
I'm exactly 1 billion years old.
1 billion years, it'll give you such a crick in the neck. Okay, so Frybo. Well, obviously, Josh, you're here because this episode is fucking terrifying.
It is very terrifying, but and I believe we were talking off mic about this maybe, but Robert was saying how he didn't remember this episode, and I did not remember this episode either. I remember Charlie saying to me like, "Hey, there's some horror elements in this. I want you on this episode." I'm like, "Okay, great." And then I was like, "Oh shit goes down in this episode." But yeah, it was great kind of, well, obviously watching Steven Universe again because it's been a very long time. So it's been nice rewatching it with the podcast, obviously. But yeah, that was a very long tangent to say that I did enjoy this episode, although it was terrifying.
Robert, were you sufficiently scared of this episode?
I did not know where the fuck this video was going at all. This episode. I'm just like, I'm sitting there being like, okay, fine, shenanigans. I thought shenanigans would ensue.
It was shenanigans.
They're different type of shenanigans, you know?
Different
Yeah.
type of shenanigans. The type where Steven has to fight a fucking like eldritch being he accidentally made.
Yeah.
Legit.
That happens sometimes.
Just it's par for the course of Steven Universe, right? Absolutely. Always fighting monsters.
Especially the monsters you make.
Oh, that's
a theme for Steven Universe. Fighting the
Rose
monsters he
creating
makes.
all of the monsters, basically.
All of them.
Oh my goodness.
Every single one of them.
Well, before we get into this full plot on Frybo, I would like to take y'all on a journey. Yes, in fact, we're gonna sit down with the classroom gems and talk a little bit about pearls because this episode no other crystal gem is in. So I was just like, well, I guess this is gonna be the Pearl episode. I'm gonna talk a little bit about why the fuck Pearl might be the way she is, if possible, and how that relates to actual pearls. I don't know. Cool. I'm still working on this segment. It does not come up often enough.
We need a catchy little transitional jingle, like how you have for in case you missed it. The
classroom
gems.
I love how it immediately starts off. It's just like, yeah, pearls. It's not saying anything about gems. Because are pearls even gems? I'm still confused about that factoid. So, Wikipedia is like, it's a hard, glistening object produced within the soft tissue of a living shelled mollusk or another animal. Okay, cool. It's just an object. What the fuck is a pearl, actually?
So a pearl is you see what had happened was is a pearl is is the thingy that's in the thingy, and what happens is the thingy turns into, I don't know how it works. So when I try and search my brain for pearls, I think about that scene from the Jimmy Neutron movie where he tosses a couple of clams into his like time machine microwave and out they pop with pearls.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
You've unlocked like a memory.
I was gonna say I have not seen that movie probably since it came out, to be honest.
Back in like 2001 or 2, something like that.
Literally.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I know that pearls are made with time, but then again, isn't everything?
I mean, you're very much correct. Also fun, pearl, what does it mean? It means leg?
Leg.
Like pearl it means leg. It's from Latin.
Oh, like a leg? Like a leg to stand on?
Yeah, let's see. Okay, let me say this full sentence. The English word pearl comes from the French pearl, originally from the Latin perna, leg, after the ham or mutton leg-shaped bivalve.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I think that just means it's named after the shell? Yeah?
Maybe.
I don't know. There's a leg shell out there.
What about if there was a shell egg?
Well, I have nothing to say. All right, pearls are not always valued as gemstones. Okay.
You
But
hear that, everyone? Pearls are worthless.
So maybe that's.
You know what?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, like, that's why in gem culture, they're just like, oh, she's just a pearl. She's just like, they hold your things. They just look pretty. They don't do anything.
She's a
Right?
glorified coat rack.
Oh, no.
Literally.
I was going to say maybe that's why, like, Pearl, especially in these kind of early episodes, seems like she's kind of overcompensating and kind of like
Mm,
overly like by the book about everything.
yeah. Yeah, pearl's always like that.
Pearl just be like that sometimes.
She just be like that.
Ooh, okay. Physical properties, they're very pretty. They're reflective. Very cool. Oh, freshwater versus saltwater pearls? I didn't think about the fact that like they could maybe exist in freshwater.
I was unaware that of which water they could exist in. I thought it was just water. I thought that's all you needed.
I was just like, oh yeah, pearls come from the ocean, right? Right?
I feel like most of the time, yes, but
To be fair, we all came from the ocean.
Robert over here getting very existential.
yeah, you.
I am sober as fuck right now. That's not even that even like high that ain't even like high thoughts coming out. I have not done shit all day.
Oh my goodness, there's so much text on these pages because it's science shit. I don't know enough science to talk about this stuff. Where is in culture? Do we have an in culture section over here? Religious references. Okay. Okay. That might be something I can talk about. Okay, I see literally nothing interesting in this section. Pearls are just pretty, and I feel like that's what I'm getting from a lot of this is that pearls are weird. Are they gems? Are they not? They're created from like living creatures. What else do I have to say about pearls?
So pearls are just made from living things, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, not wild.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, because it's usually like clams and maybe oysters, right? That's like
Yeah,
they usually
yeah, it's
make them.
always like some kind of like mollusk or shell creature that creates them. I don't know what these things are called because I don't know
They are called
science
the worst.
anymore. I love that the range of colors is just like the entire rainbow, basically, though.
All right, so pearls are canonically gay. Let's go.
Literally. Also, important to note, I love that Wikipedia tells you the cleavage on it, which is like a thing in like minerals and gems and all of that stuff. But pearls have no cleavage. This is important information.
Pearl ain't got no tits. All right, so
Oh, poor Pearl.
She is pretty flat chested. Let's be clear. This is why. I have nothing else to say about pearls. I think the fact that like we've figured out why pearls are like that in gem society. I think that we did it. We did it. We figured out something.
We did it, Joe. We did it.
not the fucking we did it.
I'll see myself out.
Here's what we figured out about pearls. They're gay, they're made from living things,
Mm-hmm.
and they can be made in any kind of water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they got no cleavage.
And they got no tits.
Mhm.
All right, we did it, boys.
All right, talk to me about Frybo and just what happened here.
So the episode opens up with Steven looking for his pants, as you do. We've all been there.
Absolutely.
Literally.
Shout out to the really good sleep I had this past weekend because I woke up without pants. I went to sleep with pants. I passed out because I came home from a concert and I woke up without pants.
Robert,
Yes.
what?
I went to sleep wearing pants, like not just wearing pants, like wearing pants with my belt. I was exhausted. I just said, fuck it, I'm passing out. And I woke up without pants. My pants were on my ankles.
Oh.
I think something happened.
Something happened.
There's a piece of the story we're not getting here.
Something happened. You wish it was a miracle. It probably wasn't.
Okay.
Alrighty. Interesting.
So Steven's looking for his pants. Pearl comes out because she's also looking for a shard of a crystal.
I have so many questions about this gem shard and
Is
these
that
things.
is that like a living gem person thing? Is that a crystal gem?
I'm not totally sure. Okay, is there like a Steven Universe page for like these gem shards, or let's see.
I'm looking at the
gem shards.
fandom wiki thing, but it
Yeah,
doesn't.
that's what we usually look at.
Yeah, but
for...
I don't. They don't really have. Oh wait, maybe they do. Hang on.
Oh, it's asking me if I'm an adult now on this website.
Yeah, it did that to me too.
Oh
I was
boy.
like,
This is
no.
new.
Well, Charlie, are you an adult?
I wish I wasn't. Okay, so maybe these are just regular gem shards. I thought they were like special.
It says that it's the remnants of shattered gemstones. So I don't know if that's helpful or more confusing.
A little bit of both, because it's like, okay, so they're the shattered remains of gemstones. Were the gemstones were these the sentient kind or not? Is what I need to know.
I would assume yes, sentient.
Because
they're sentient.
The shards themselves have a sentient, aspect to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they can just fucking possess pants and also a Fry costume.
Josh, I should have asked this before, but you've seen all of Steven Universe? Yes?
I've seen a lot of early Steven Universe. So, like, once it gets, like, I haven't seen Future, and I haven't seen the movie. So...
Wow.
Yeah, so...
I'm just wondering how much I can talk about here, because, like...
You could spoil it all if you want. It's fine.
Okay, because I'm just, like... We've seen like gem shards like doing things later with like the cluster and all of that. Like the gems shards themselves have a consciousness.
Right.
But I don't know. I never connected them to this episode with Frybo before. I always thought this was like a separate, different thing.
Right.
I don't know, because we never see those gem shards later in clothing. And all of that. This specific scenario never happens again. We do see gem shards acting on their own and trying to form physical bodies, but we never see them inside of clothes making them move around. That is a weird thing that's singular to this episode.
Yeah, I feel like this is a situation of like the show trying to find its footing, and they're kind of testing things out, because I think I read somewhere that like these shards come up again, but like whatever gem was like trying to get them, like they didn't know what clothing was or something. Isn't there like an episode where they don't understand the concept of clothing?
The last thing I need is more naked people.
Yeah, that's the thing. Peridot doesn't know what a shirt is.
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah.
But, so that is a funny continuity error.
Yeah. So it's a little strange. But
wait, so does that mean Peridot's naked?
Their clothing on the gems, like it's part of their bodies. So it's not
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucked. Anyway, so Steven lost his pants. Pearl lost this shard that we have a million questions about. Also, where does she think she lost it? Because she's looking all throughout the house. I think she said she looked through the temple, and now she's gonna go look in town. I'm like, how badly do you think you lost this fucking shard?
It's just so funny that she's not like, oh, Steven, it's probably in your pants. She's just like, oh, Steven, go find your pants, whatever. Like, it goes inside clothing and controls it. Why don't you be like, crap, your pants, those are missing piece of clothing. It could get inside there and cause some shit.
And I feel like out of the 3, like, this particular storyline of, like, losing something probably would have fit Amethyst a little better, of, like her trying to find a shard in town. Like, Pearl doesn't strike me as a type that would lose something like that. That's just me.
Maybe it should have been like, "Oh, Amethyst lost this shard and she won't help me find
Mhm.
it."
Yeah.
Just, just a little thing in there. It's just funny that Pearl's like not even worried about Steven's pants, even though she goes off on this whole tangent. We got to talk about Steven going full ADHD here when she describes this whole thing. Did y'all try to listen to what she was saying?
Oh no, because I was paying attention to Steven being like literally just word for word. I have said what Steven has said in my brain, where
Same.
I'm like I'm thinking about something else that's more pressing on my mind, and then halfway through, I'm like, oh shit, I should have paid attention to this. Oh well, it's too late. I can't pay attention now, or else I'll get lost.
Yeah. Well, I believe I said this off mic again, but I watched this 3 times just, because I'm a good little podcaster and I like to do research sometimes. But I
What a
I know,
nerd.
nerd, right? But on my second and third time, I really tried to listen to what she said. But like sometimes Steven is inner thoughts are just so loud that I couldn't hear
Yeah.
everything. But like I got the gist of what she was trying to say.
Yeah. So the gist of it is that basically the gems like tried to use the shards in the past for like armies, I think.
I think she does
And
say like it was used for armies or like something of that
yeah,
nature.
but it didn't work out because they gained more sentience and like control over themselves and they didn't want to follow orders anymore, which is literally what we see happen in the episode. So, yeah. Basically, these are not things that you want to try to use in that specific way. Keep them away from clothes. Don't do that.
It's just I love how it's specifically clothes that this gem shard takes over. Um. So yeah.
I
Um.
wonder if this gem gets healed at the end of the show.
I hope not. I hope he's suffering.
Oh no.
I hope this little fucking freakso that became Frybo. I hope he's suffering. I hope he's wishing to get let out.
Maybe this gem actually ends up having like PTSD when they come back from it, like, oh my god, I can't go anywhere near fries ever
Yeah,
again.
right.
It was so horrible.
Also, when Steven like finds the shard and like puts it in the sock and the sock starts beating him, and then he says stop. So what are the rules of this gem shard? They like you can like tell it to do things, but then like also it eventually develops free will and decides to be a murderous fry mascot.
Pretty much,
Yes.
yes.
It also isn't totally free will. We'll talk about it when we get there, but like Steven kind of ordered the Frybo to do that.
Whoops. All right, it's time to go down, and now Steven's looking for Pearl because he has the shard thing, and he's like, "Oh no, oh no, Pearl went to town looking for my pants. I should go find her."
Yeah.
This is like a classic case of his kind of obliviousness, right? Like we get a lot of that this episode. Especially when he's talking to, well, we'll get there to PD later, but like it's just so blissfully innocent.
Yeah. I have so many thoughts about Petey, and my goodness, this poor boy.
This poor boy. He's like 10 or something, is being exploited by his
He has
father for
a
free
job.
labor.
He's got to be like,
Is he being paid? Is he being paid? Is this his job, or
does
is
Petey
this
have a
just
canonical
exploitation of
age?
labor?
Petey Fryman. I know out of the characters in the show, Onion does not have a canonical age.
Onion is just an immortal being.
Literally. Onion is a sentient onion. Petey, do you have an age? No. No. But at least he ages later on in like the movie. Onion does not. 2 years pass and Onion is the same.
So yeah, we stumble across Petey, who is in the fucking Frybo like mascot outfit. By the way, pre this outfit being taken over, it's still creepy as fuck.
Oh, it is.
Yes, absolutely.
Pearl
Terrifying.
even says at the end of the episode, whenever Petey's dad is like, "Oh, like these kids nowadays, they'll never know like how much joy that he brought," and Pearl's like, what? Didn't it already scare kids? Like, why are we mourning this?"
Yeah, no, Frybo is terrifying. Actually, let's not.
And seagulls are terrifying too. So it's just like a terrifying opening to this freaking mascot. Let's just say that.
Yeah, yeah. And the seagulls like think it's fries, I guess. So they're trying to eat it. I'm surprised they don't try to do that to like Petey's hair.
You would think, right?
That's the fun thing about the Frymans. Their hair literally looks like fries.
I mean, they
And
look like
it's so
fry.
good.
They look like fries, man.
Hey.
The only story I remember that's relevant, other than this one, I guess, with the Frymans is the fucking episode where Steven does like a fucking Food Wars parody and makes them French fries with ketchup inside the fries. I also only remember that because Binging with Babish made his own version. And I'm like, it's a potato filled with French fries. It's a French fry filled with ketchup. Like,
Babish does so much. Okay, so Petey gets so existential. This poor boy whose age we do not know, he got this job so he could try to impress his dad with his work ethic and make him proud. But now he's just like, wow, don't get a job. It's terrible. It's awful. I hate it.
yeah, honestly, Petey does have a bunch of moments in this episode where he's like, getting a job is like a terrible thing. Society expects a lot out of you. You're doing it. You either get a job for your family or for society or whatever. And I'm like, dude, you're like 10. Please stop having an existential crisis.
This is the anti-capitalism episode.
He straight up is like, do you know what you earn whenever you get a job? And Steven's like, smiles? And he's like, God, no. Which is such a like a retail / service industry type answer. Like, no, it's not about the smiles. It's about the cash. And the cash can't what does he say? The cash can't buy back the time that you like wasted at the job, basically.
Yeah, seriously.
And I was like, God damn. Hit me right in my heart right now.
This wisdom coming from this child.
What's that saying? It's like no amount of money could buy a second of happiness.
Yeah, I think that's like
or time or whatever the fuck the thing is.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I feel like that's basically what he's saying. And the poor kid, like I feel him, like especially like working in the service industry, it is terrible and scary, especially like after the pandemic. Like it's terrible.
Yeah, so Steven's like, oh, I have an idea to like make it so you don't have to be Frybo anymore because you hate it. And then he puts the shard in Frybo. Dun dun dun. It's all gonna go great from here.
Although I do like right before that, we're kind of led to believe that that's the first idea Steven thinks of, but instead he puts on the mascot costume first, and then he's like, oh wait, I have this shard that I could use. It was kind of it was a great like misdirection.
Yeah. Imagine Steven actually doing that. I think Steven would have been a great like mascot though.
Yeah, I feel like he has the energy that Mr. Fryman wants in the mascot.
And he's doing it for super free. Not just for free, he's enjoying it.
Right?
Like Steven would just be great as a mascot of like literally anything. He's got the energy for it. And he would do all the tricks and all that.
Steven could have saved the Cookie Cat Company by becoming its mascot.
Oh,
okay.
I love that.
You're inspiring me. Now I need to draw Steven wearing like a Cookie Cat costume.
Cookie Cat. He's super duper yummy. Cookie Cat. He's something for your tummy.
He left his family behind.
Cookie cat.
Speaking of art, real quick, in me kind of doing image searches and like all of that for this episode, there is a lot of like art for Frybo that makes him even scarier and like more disgusting.
Oh yeah, I've noticed that too.
So if you're interested in that, go Google that. And if you're not, don't do it because it's scary.
Yeah, maybe don't.
Well, you like to be scared, don't you?
Not like this.
Yeah,
No.
I'm a little bit of a scaredy cat. I run a horror movie podcast, but I'm a little bit of a scaredy cat. Like,
There's a reason we watched Friday the 13th, and it wasn't to get scared. It was to make fun of Kevin
exactly. Which I didn't
You know
realize
what?
Kevin Bacon was in the movie until like halfway through the movie. So that's great for me. I love that.
No, but instead, so yeah, so now they get the idea. Steven's like, let's put the shard in the Frybo costume and get him to just do your job for you. And
Yeah.
he's having a good time. They're like, Frybo, do a little dance, and look at him dance. Look at his fucking little dance. Love him.
Wait, the fact that he makes some fries appear
We
and
don't have to worry about that. Just look
into
at his
his
little
feet?
look at his silly
I'm
dance.
sorry. That
Look at
is
his silly
where
dance.
it starts. That's where the horror starts. Cause like, what the fuck? Why?
Homie, just look at his feet. Don't look at his feet. Look at his little dance. He's dancing.
Yeah, it's
Little dancing boy.
yeah, it's a yeah, it's a little terrifying. I don't like it. But yeah, so then this next part where PD is like, "Hey, go make people eat fries."
That's
The
it. That's the
yeah,
thing.
That's like some monkey paw shit right there.
yeah, that was the next thing that was gonna come out of my mouth. It reminded me of like monkey paw, like genie wishes, like any of those types of things where if you aren't very specific and you're just using kind of like I mean, the way that we talk nowadays, if you're taking it literally, like this particular phrase, go make people eat fries, it could lead to disaster, which it does.
I mean, all we really need to do now is we need to just like go to the arcade where Steven and fuck his name, PD are having like an existential talk where Steven's like, "I do my job, saving the world," and PD's like, "Nah, you like, it's not a job unless you pay taxes."
Yeah, pretty much.
Literally. And they're writing like the cute little things. Oh my god, what are those things called? Like you know those the rides they used to be outside of stores and shit,
Yeah,
and they would just like bounce and you put the quarters in them. Man, those were simpler times.
literally.
Do they even make those anymore? Do those still exist?
Probably, but like I have a very like distinct vivid memory of the like one mall that was in my hometown and there just being like an entire section of these things like
Oh my god.
and it had like one of those like
Yeah.
photo booths things that you could get in and it
Oh
just had like a
yeah.
little section of that but now it's like
Mhm.
non-existent in there but so is a lot of things such as JCPenney and all that but that's another talk for another day but I it definitely was a simpler time, where kids were just like, I want to go on that, mommy. Like,
It was a simpler time when kids were kids.
It's so great to combine that with like PD's just like existential crisis.
because he's literally like, right before they go to the arcade, he's like, let's go be kids because he doesn't have to work. And
Mhm.
I feel, I feel that very hard. I-
Sometimes I'll have like a free hour to play video games, and I'll sit there and think like, I had to plan for this hour. I had to set it
yeah,
aside in my schedule. I used to be able to I had like so little responsibilities. I could just throw away a Saturday playing video games all day,
absolutely.
and now I can't.
Mm.
It's so terrible. All right, let's talk about
You say
evil
this like you
Frybo.
don't stay up till 11, 12 at night playing Zelda.
Shh, it's later than that. Shh.
That's not. You shouldn't have told me that, Charlie. Now I'm worried about you. Now I have to go to your house and like knock you out at like 10.
Okay, that's good. Please do.
Maybe we put the Switch in another room when it's time to go to sleep.
No, that doesn't sound that's fine. It's fine.
Robert, I don't think you're my Switch friend yet. You should be my Switch friend so you can see when I'm online, and then you can yell at me when
That would
I
mean
cast
I would
Legend.
be on my Switch at that time, and I'm not. I'm asleep.
Well, I don't know how to do this. Okay, Josh, tell us about Evil Frybo and the images that you came up with, y'all. I'm gonna have to like figure out how to share this, but Josh made us like a whole PowerPoint of just like the different images and where things might have come from. It's so cool.
Well, thank you. I know I didn't have to do this, but I know that Charlie isn't necessarily a horror movie fan. But I figured, kind of putting these images side by side might be useful for all of us to kind of, and it helps me keep on track because I could go on like a random tangent like I am right now. Anyway, so the design for Frybo, according to the Steven Universe wiki, is supposedly based off of Robbie the Rabbit from Silent Hill 3, which is kind of this animatronic like amusement park um, thing. And before I had read that, I kind of got the vibes from like Five Nights at Freddy's. It's a horror movie, or not a horror movie. I'm sorry. Well, there is one coming out this year, but it's a like a horror video game where you're trying to like hide from these like evil animatronics. So I kind of got that at first.
Video game where you have to hide from animatronics. Can I go into my neurodivergent rant about Five Nights at
Oh
Freddy's?
God.
If you would like to,
Yeah, I guess
Robert,
this is
this
the
is our
time.
podcast.
I shouldn't because this episode will be like 3 hours long, and I'm the one who's editing
Oh
it.
boy.
Yeah, Robert likes Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, okay.
I'm so fucking hyped for the movie.
I figured if anybody got that reference, it would probably be Robert.
Damn.
Um,
Read like a book.
yeah. So, like the tentacles kind of give me, well, the scene where evil Frybos attacking the townspeople kind of gives me Spider-Man 2 vibes. This entire scene is kind of very Sam Raimi, like Sam Raimi's directing and like uh, writing, producing style is very much like comic book, video game, like pop out at you, like very kind of colorful. And I feel like this really kind of pulls from that. Um, there's obviously like use of ketchup and condiments as like
Yeah.
bodily fluids. I guess there's no better way to say that really.
It's the color of
Yeah,
blood,
I
you
mean it's
know?
literally the color of blood, and specifically when Pearl is completely covered in the ketchup, it kind of gives me like Evil Dead vibes because usually by the end of that movie you're completely covered in blood in some way or another. Um,
My brain was gonna go to like Carrie or
oh yeah,
something.
Carrie's a good reference too. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Um, Also more kind of Frybo design comparisons. You could think of like Little Shop of Horrors. Um, the kind of use of ketchup as like a replacement for blood, if you will, also gave me vibes of Scarlet Witch in Multiverse of Madness. She's like destroying all these like robots, and basically she has oil all over her fucking face. Can I swear on this podcast?
Mm,
I just realized.
yes, you
Okay,
can.
perfect.
Absolutely.
But she has the oil all over her face,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and this is also directed by Sam Raimi as well. So it just kind of shoehorns that in. Obviously these things are
Yeah.
10 years apart from each other, but watching it in 2023 I'm like thinking of all these like current references.
Yeah, I forgot that in Multiverse Madness because I have not rewatched that movie. Um
I mean, I
Yeah.
like it a lot just because I love Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch, and she's like the closest thing that I have to a Dark Phoenix
Wow.
right now. You know what I mean?
Wow, Josh, we're gonna cancel
I
you
know.
because we don't love Scarlet Witch's arc
No!
in that movie.
No, I don't love it either because it's very clear, and I think Elizabeth Olsen, I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent about this, but like Elizabeth Olsen even confirms that the writers for Multiverse of Madness did not watch WandaVision at all.
My
So
god.
she
That makes
basically has the same arc all over again in a, just a more
fucking
dramatic
awful.
way. But anyway, my last kind of point regarding this kind of comparison to a horror movie is that pretty much everybody is taken out of the battle, including, the Frymans, including Pearl, which is very shocking, because I feel like she's so
Mhm.
like calculated and everything, but it's kind of left up to Steven to be this like final person, if you will, the final boy, quote unquote, for this horror movie where they kind of have to fight, fire with fire and use the gemstones that's actually controlling this Frybo uh, mascot costume and use it against it, basically. So,
Well, it makes sense that Steven would be like the quote unquote final girl because um he's the purest soul,
yeah.
you know. All the other people, you know what, like in the background they were like having sex or some shit or they were
Yeah.
drinking, right? I don't actually watch horror movies, but these are the things that I like. I know that trope.
Yeah.
That's like one of those things, right?
Yeah.
You have sex in a horror movie, you're gonna die,
Yeah.
right?
Pretty much. At least in like the 80s, maybe early 90s. Very much so. But yeah, Steven kind of serves as, if I had to compare it, I feel like Sydney Prescott is a good comparison from Scream because she just straight up like murders the Ghostface killers in each movie. Um, Pearl kind of serves as like a Gale Weathers like know-it-all type, and I guess PD is the comedy relief, the Randy Beeks of it all. So
The fact that that small boy having an existential crisis is the comedy
yeah,
in this
yeah,
episode,
like I mean, it
that's
kind of
so
is like.
that's so weird.
Yeah, it's a very weird it, tonally in this episode. It's very strange to like kind of go back and forth between like Steven's optimism, PD's like exact opposite attitude, and then
Mhm.
also kind of the interfamily drama of the Frymans, and then okay, now we're gonna put it in a horror context, I guess. It's a lot.
Yeah. Um some things about the fight. Also, Petey's dad thought it was him while the Frybo with his like weird fry tentacles was like making people eat fries and attacking people. He thought that was his son.
Oh yeah, that's my boy, Eldritch Horror. That's my boy.
Absolutely. Totally. Oh my god. That's just like yeah. That that made me laugh a lot. Also,
Okay, so wait, what if instead of the symbiote suit, we gave Peter Parker the Frybo possessed costume?
yes.
There you go.
There you go.
Bringing it back to my other personality, Peter Parker. Now I just need to talk about Percy Jackson in some way. Did Percy fight a monster that's like just tentacles?
You know what? You know what? How about this? What if the monster donut had a mascot?
Ooh.
Besides the Hydra that Percy had to fight?
And it's just Frybo.
It's just
Just
Frybo.
right, though.
Frybo
It's it's
Frybo
it's it's Donut-O.
Donut
I don't
O, but
know.
he's one of those monsters that can't be destroyed by celestial bronze.
There you go. You have to actually like eat him because he's made of donut. Okay.
um,
I don't know where I'm going with this conversation.
Neither do I.
well,
So yeah, Eldritch Horror being
Steven defeats him with the power of turning naked, and putting the gemstones in his clothing.
Yay, fun fact, but not so fun fact. This episode is rated TV PGS. The S stands for warning of sexual content. And because Steven's naked for like the last 5 minutes of this episode, and I'm like, like we don't see anything, but we know he's naked. I don't like
And
that.
it's like an 11-minute episode. It's an extended amount of time that this man is in like
This child.
this child is fully naked, butt ass naked.
Yeah. It's not my favorite episode for that and Frybo, but like the PD stuff is good. That's the good part.
This entire episode really is kind of strangely heavy for like a children's show, which I know
It
that
is.
like obviously there's like an adult fan base of this show for many reasons, but I think for the 5th episode, and it kind of being, I think, the first episode, right, that like Steven's kind of on his own and he like has to fend for himself, kind of.
I mean, Steven's always fending for himself.
That's true, but I mean, like there's not like all 3 gems to kind of come in and save him, at least in these early episodes. But
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah. So PD finally, his dad finally learns that he hates Frybo. Literally, he's like, "I've always hated you," as he trying to kill Frybo. But Frybo's dead. We murdered him, we stabbed him, he bled, and we got the gem shard out. And then we gotta have a Viking funeral for this fucking mascot costume that no one liked except Mr. Fryman.
Not only that no one liked, but also it terrorized most of the citizens of the town. So
Yeah. So they set it on fire finally. And Steven hopefully puts his clothes on after the episode.
yo, did y'all see that fucking weird ass smile that Steven threw back to the camera?
yeah, he's just like, and it's like stars in his eyes, like, okay.
Yeah. And then Pearl's like, to paraphrase, Steven, put your fucking clothes
Yeah.
on.
There's definitely like that tone was definitely like, put your fucking clothes on, like.
And that's how the episode ends, on naked Steven being naked. Oof.
Yeah, naked Steven being naked. Yay.
No, not yay.
There's a couple lines in this episode that I really enjoyed real quick. The one is when PD's trying to like go in and save his dad from Frybo, and Steven's like, "No, he's gonna mash your potatoes." I was like, oh my god, I can't. And then
sometimes you just gotta mash some potatoes.
Right.
I'm gonna use that the next time we get into a fight, and that's gonna probably be never. Imagine like being at a bar, some dude's walking up to you and he's like, some big tough dude's like, "I'm gonna fuck you up." You walk up back to him, you're like, "Oh yeah, I'll mash your potatoes."
I would totally say that.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you confuse them. They're like, "What did you just say to me?" And then what I do in that moment is I throw like a glass at their face.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's how you mash their potatoes.
The other line I really like it deals with him being naked, but I like the cleverness of this line by whoever wrote this, was that he's like, I knew as soon as I showed my butt or bared my butt, I knew he would crack. I was just like, it's
that is iconic.
Obviously it's a little uncomfortable because he's naked, but like the cleverness of the line, I really appreciated.
You gotta appreciate comedy even when it comes from a naked child.
Right.
Alrighty, my friends, we have to close out this episode. We have to go through our little things because we still have to talk about trivia.
I still have to try trivia in the crystal classroom. What the fuck's the bit called?
The Crystal Temple trivia.
Crystal Temple trivia. This is the second time that Pearl's defeated by a condiment. The first time being in Together Breakfast, where she's defeated by the possessed Together Breakfast with whipped cream.
Oh no.
Yeah. We already talked about the rating. And Garnet and Amethyst, this is in fact the first episode they're absent. So good to know. Oh, there's a few cultural references in here. There's a reference to Adventure Time. There's a reference to Viking funerals.
Yeah, randomly.
Yeah, really.
No one liked this costume. I was like, why are we doing a Viking funeral for a costume that nobody liked? Yikes.
Yippee yikes. The way Stephen has a frying pan in his mouth while standing with his army is a nod to Douglas MacArthur, a famed American general who often held a corncob pipe in a similar fashion.
No, actually, it's a reference to Jet from Avatar: The Last Airbender, where he's got the hay in his mouth, right?
Yeah. Last I remember, Jet, he said he was gonna be okay, right?
Yeah, he's totally fine. It's really unclear what happened to him, though.
There is no Jet in Bossing Say.
Not anymore, there isn't.
Ooh.
Jet has left the building.
Okay, so the jellyfish ride that Steven rides on is named the Jelly Jiggler, and it's a reference to
I want you to say the Japanese, the anime series name. Bo.
yeah, that's I wasn't gonna try to say it,
No,
but cool, it's a
look,
reference.
it's three bows and then a dash bow. So it's
Bo 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 bo
bow, and then
bo bo bo.
bow. Exactly. See, you got it. I feel like we're that bit from SpongeBob where Mr. Krabs is trying to get the song on the radio again, and he's like, it goes like beep boop boop bop beep.
We are actually robots.
What? Oh, by the way, my boy makes his second comeback. My boy, the cheeseburger backpack.
Cheeseburger backpack,
Cheeseburger backpack. Cheeseburger backpack.
We did it. Okay. So, my friends, who would you give a pearl point to in this episode? Who do you think deserves our praise?
Oh, for me, I guess a pearl point to PD for realizing early that working sucks.
Yeah, I think I'm also giving it to Petey because one, he's the best thing in this episode. Two, he needs a hug, and therapy already.
This poor
Like,
kid is gonna need so much therapy when he grows up. Like, damn.
he's figured out
Gosh
capitalism
dang.
sucks at such a young age.
Yeah. I would like to split my pro point in half. One for Jelly Jiggler and one for Tsunami.
Oh, are those the rides?
Those are the names of the rides.
Good.
Nice.
I'm so glad.
I also think
Jelly
I also
Jiggler.
think the animators need a pearl point for this because while it is kind of a terrifying episode, I feel like they really encaptured like horror movie elements by like
Mm,
presenting them in a way that's like kind of kid friendly, even though it's still terrifying.
amazing. And our last segment is the question. Okay, who's your favorite?
The question is which weapons would you use to fucking kill Frybo? I'll go first. A nuclear bomb. Next question.
I was gonna go with something lighter, but that's way better than mine.
We need to destroy the entire town. Frybo's influence cannot leave that town.
Oh my god. Um,
But no, fine. How about an actual question, Charlie? What would your question gonna
I
be?
mean, I was gonna ask like, what's your what was your favorite mascot? Like growing up, like did you favorite mascot of like a sports team or of like a beloved restaurant?
Huh.
I mean, I also have to think about this because I never think about these.
There's this restaurant in Peru whose name's escaping me, who's like a diner-esque 50s burger place kind of vibe.
Ooh.
And
Ooh,
they have a mascot that is just pretty much a giant rat. And their TikToks are funny.
it's just a rat. That's it.
I love that.
It's a fucking rat.
um I'm trying to think if there was any ones that I liked from like McDonald's from like the 90s because I felt like they had a lot of lore and like their own little thing with like McDonald's
Speaking of
stuff. Like
Speaking of McDonald's lore, I saw something about like it's Grimace's birthday coming up.
Yeah. Like Grimace,
I'm
and
like,
there's
what?
like the Hamburglar, and I think there was like a duck that looked like fries. Oh, that's what this reminds me of. I have to find what I knew that Frybo reminded me of something from McDonald's, and it might be this like duck. That was like one of their mascots. Anyway,
I mean, I also want to say my favorite mascot, but I don't want to dox myself too
oh
hard.
boy.
Here, I'm gonna actually
But like,
my favorite mascot is Freddy Fazbear. Herb, 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 herb,
is
herb, 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 herb.
that a reference?
That's Five Nuts at Freddy.
Yeah. Okay. I thought so. I thought so. I just really liked the mascot from like the minor league team that was like semi close to me. I got the mascot to sign my hats.
That's pretty
So,
cool.
yeah. We liked going to the baseball games because they had like fireworks and cute little theme nights and stuff.
I
So
love that. The big kind of like mascot from where I'm from is the Nittany Lion for Penn State University. Um, so obviously that was just everywhere on like Penn State merch and shit because where I lived was literally like 10 minutes from the campus. So everybody was like obsessed with, the college football team. So
oh my goodness, I can tell you all about my the mascot of my college. Wheaton College, we had a gender neutral lion as our mascot. Um, it's because it's a lion without a mane. Um,
yeah, technically mine is a
and
mountain lion, so it could be either.
there you go. There you go. And also we got to like name the lion while I was there, and lion's called Rory, also a gender neutral name.
So, Josh, before we leave, can you tell people where they can find you on the world, in the world? Where can they find you?
Well, first off, thank you for having me on the show. I've been very excited about the show when you announced it, so thank you for having me. And
No, thank you.
yeah, of course. And you can find me at Super Scary Podcast. My podcast is on all the different platforms that you can listen. So Apple Podcast is my favorite. So go listen to me on there. You can find me at Super Scary Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. You can also email me at superscarypodcast@gmail.com if you so wish to, and let me know your thoughts about my episodes. Yeah.
Alrighty. How do we fucking end these episodes? We have to get out of here.
Hey, Charlie.
Yeah, Robert.
If every podcast were perfect,
We wouldn't have the bits.
Woo!
Bye. You can follow this podcast socials at The Bits SU Pod on Instagram and Tumblr. You can send a message to our Diamond line through thebitssupod@gmail.com. Be sure to give us a rating, a review, or let your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. Our music was written and produced by Jason Hilton. You can find him at Negative Selections on Instagram. You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms, and I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws.
you can find me, Robert, at the Damn Meme page on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Damn is spelled D-A-M. If you want to hear more from me, check out one of my many podcasts. I have a Once Upon a Time podcast called Entering Storybrooke, a Kim Possible podcast called That's a Sitch, and an Osman Verse podcast called the Truum Grammar Book Club.
The Bits is proud to be a part of Deus Ex Media, which features great podcasts like Super Scary, a love letter to superheroes, sci-fi, and horror movies, hosted by Josh.
Do you love to be super scared? Do you enjoy listening to hilarious hot takes on timeless classics? Well, fear not, listeners. I'm here. Welcome to the Super Scary Podcast, where we cover everything from the supernatural to the superpowered. I'm your host, Josh, a scaredy cat nerd who enjoys superhero, sci-fi, and horror movies way too much. Whether I'm processing my trauma from Texas Chainsaw Massacre or reminiscing on the nostalgia of Hocus Pocus, my guest and I have a hilarious time going through our favorite and sometimes not so favorite moments. I'm your friend till the end, listeners, because everyone's entitled to one super scary podcast. We post weekly episodes on Mondays, and you can find us at Super Scary Podcast on all the socials. See you in the afterlife, listeners.
I want to interrupt this recording to let y'all know
Yeah.
that The Flash, starring Ezra, who shall not be named, has
Yeah.
debuted on Rotten Tomatoes with a 69%.
Not 69.
Robert, I think you found your ending thing.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think that's it.
Now that I'm actively looking for bloopers to put at the end of the episodes, I'm like, what wacky shenanigan can I get up to that I know I'll just put at the end?
Dave X Media.